nightmares. Mesa, Arizona. Amidst the scorching heat in the Southwest desert lies a tale of desperation and brutality. What would you do for the things you crave or need? Would you compromise your morals to acquire something that makes you feel good? Something that you need to function on a daily basis without becoming physically sick. For some people, trapped in the cycles of vicious addiction, there is no line they will not cross. They will obtain their vice in any way possible. January 28, 2022. Shortly before 3 a.m., a woman called the police to report a shooting near the 1500 block of West First Place in Mesa. She told the dispatcher that she heard several loud banging sounds towards the back of the home while she was standing nearby outside. As she approached the front door of the home, a man ran out the door and pushed her out of the way as he escaped running away on foot. She described the suspect as wearing a black hoodie sweatshirt, a black mask, and a black backpack. When police finally arrived on scene, they entered the home and discovered the bodies of a man and a woman shot dead in their own residence. 32-year-old Mario Paschal and his 24-year-old girlfriend McKinley Charnowski. Both victims were pronounced dead on scene. Police soon came to the conclusion that this residence was being used as a trap house to sell drugs. The signs began to become clear. This was a robbery gone very wrong. Someone was desperate and vicious enough to take the lives of this young couple without remorse. There was now a double homicide suspect, armed and dangerous, running free on the streets of Mesa. After questioning the woman who heard the gunshots, as well as neighbors and relatives of the victims, homicide detectives confirmed that the house was being used to sell narcotics. Word was going around town that there were 2 people involved in this murder, the killer and a getaway driver. Yet police had no leads, so they began to review camera footage from nearby houses and businesses, as well as collect any possible DNA evidence available on scene. The victim had cameras installed inside the home, and after viewing the most recent footage, detectives witnessed a masked man committing the murders on video. An additional camera was also located in the driveway next door that was able to catch the killer escaping the residence on foot, pushing the woman who heard the gunshots out of his way. He was last seen running down the street before escaping the camera. As detectives reviewed local business footage in the direction that he was running, they were able to see that the man had entered a nearby parked vehicle on the passenger side door before driving off with a getaway driver. Police were able to scan the license plate of the getaway vehicle and identified the male driver. Detectives quickly followed this lead and made contact with a man who was now a suspect in a brutal double murder. After questioning him and threatening to put him in prison for the rest of his life, the male getaway driver began to fold and promised to cooperate, as long as he was spared and his identity would remain anonymous. Detectives assured the man that they were most interested in finding the killer, but they wanted answers, and they were not going to let the driver get away without identifying their suspect. They needed to get this man off the streets before he could kill anyone else. Finally, the driver agreed to talk. The man told police that he was addicted to fentanyl pills and was a regular customer who purchased them from Mario. He also admitted that his friend wanted to rob Mario of his drugs and came up with a complex plan to get in and get out with the pills. He agreed to be the getaway driver and confessed to detectives that he had parked down the street from the home the night of the robbery. However, the driver only agreed to help his friend escape and did not agree to kill anyone. With this new information from their lead, police were able to identify the primary suspect, a 53-year-old man by the name of Aaron Aldrich Thomas. Aaron lived in Levine, a 30-minute drive west of Mesa. He had an extensive criminal record and was also reportedly heavily addicted to fentanyl. Police located his address and paid him a visit. After being grilled by homicide detectives, Thomas admitted to being in the area that night, but he did not admit to entering to the residence where the homicide took place. Instead, he accused the getaway driver of being the robber and murderer who entered the home. Police were not buying his story, and things did not add up. Why was he in the area in the first place if he was not involved in the robbery? After searching Aaron's residence, detectives located a crucial piece of evidence: a handgun with the same caliber ammunition that was used in the murders. With the statement information provided by the getaway driver, as well as a gun that seemed to match the murder weapon, Aaron was arrested and booked into a Maricopa County jail. He was charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder, 2 counts of armed robbery, and 1 count of misconduct involving weapons, as he was a convicted felon. March 11, 2022. The long court process for the trial against Aaron had begun. Victim McKinley's mother was overwhelmed with emotions as she addressed the court. Quote, "I just want him to know that she had parents who loved her. She had siblings. She had 5 siblings that miss her every day. She has a little boy that we have to take care of and raise now, all because he wanted to kill her for nothing. Nothing." After processing the crime scene in the home, police were able to find additional evidence linking Aaron to the scene of the crime. Apparently, there were fingerprints found on a wall inside the home, fingerprints that were traced back to Aaron. Police also found video footage from inside the home, the driveway, nearby residences, and businesses that placed the defendant at the scene of the crime. Despite all the evidence stacked against him, Aaron continued to claim he was innocent, insisting that he was the getaway driver and not the shooter. By this point, detectives were able to piece together a puzzle that they thought made sense based on the graphic evidence and crime scene that they had witnessed. They had no doubt in their minds that Aaron was the man seen wearing gloves and a mask on the neighbors' video cameras. He had knocked on the front door, stating his name and wanting to buy pills. After the man opened the door to let him in, he immediately turned his back to the suspect to walk away before the suspect shot him in the back. The victim's girlfriend began screaming very loudly, begging Aaron to spare her life. These were the same screams that their neighbors heard outside as she promised to cooperate. It was then that Aaron shot her multiple times at point-blank range. Aaron then stood over her boyfriend and fired a final lethal shot, execution style, before escaping with the fentanyl pills. Over the course of over a year, the courts described this vivid picture to the jury, and a final decision was made. December 14th, 2023. Aaron Aldrich Thomas was found guilty on 2 counts of armed robbery, 1 count of burglary in the first degree, and 2 counts of first-degree murder. A few months later, in May 2024, Thomas learned of his fate and was sentenced to a life sentence for each count of first-degree murder, as well as 21 years for each of the remaining charges. County Attorney Rachel Mitchell said, quote, "In 2 minutes, this man killed 2 people in such a cold-blooded, calculated way, making prison for the rest of his life the right place for him to be." According to the district attorney and detectives, the DNA evidence collected from a retaining wall touched by Aaron while fleeing the scene was critical in linking him to the crimes. Combined with the video footage from various locations near the crime, the evidence proved that he was in fact the shooter and not the getaway driver. Do you believe that Aaron Thomas deserved a life sentence? Or do you think that he still had a chance at rehabilitation? Do you think that the murders were a mistake and not planned? Or do you think that Aaron had every intention on killing when he arrived at the house? Let us know and comment below. Like, share, and subscribe for more.